Oh, boom. All right. And I'm going to hit a countdown and then I'm going to hit the intro.
I'm ready.
As soon as I find it. Oh, there we go. Countdown. And the intro.
昔から暗闇がいた髪の毛は私たちを救うことができるよ君の笑顔を好きから絶対をいつもしたい
Yeah. Welcome to another episode of Dread Desk Podcast. My name is Clint.
My name is Mal.
And we back with another special guest on Inner Talk. Today we got Austin Mack in the building. How you doing today, Austin?
Doing great, yo. That intro is sick as hell.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Like I tell y'all every time, every Inner Talk, I tell y'all the same thing, and it's not gonna change. I find cool, awesome people doing some cool, awesome shit, either via TikTok or Instagram. I found Austin doing probably the coolest, hardest shit that I ever seen in my goddamn life. He does fucking tie-dye shirts, but it's not regular tie-dye shirts. It's fucking like characters and like all type of different designs, front and back. I'm like, all right, what the hell is going on here? I gotta break this man's mind and break his technique. So Austin, tell people about yourself a little bit.
I'm Austin Mack. I'm 27 years old, and I've been tie-dyeing for about 8 years. I live in Southwest Florida, and I found tie-dyeing back in 2015. I was living in a halfway house with a bunch of dudes, and one of them came home with like a Walmart tie-dye kit, and I was like, "Yo, like let me try that. That's gonna be so." Everyone's tie-dyed like when they're younger. And
like in a bathtub and shit,
or like preschool or camp or whatever. And I was like a stoner kid too, so I was like, "Yo, I gotta try this," and he let me do it, and we made like 5 shirts each, and something about it, like I don't know what it was, like it clicked with me, and I just became obsessed with it to the point where like I was doing that shit like every weekend. And then I started doing it like every day. I mean, it is progressive over a long period of time, but yeah, it was pretty crazy.
All right, that's cool. So not to get too deep, but I gotta ask. So how did you end up like in a halfway house? Like how did that whole situation even like occur and everything like that?
So when I was younger, not everyone, but some people, they started smoking weed and stuff at a younger age. And for me, for some reason, I just like quickly progressed from smoking weed at like 14 to by the time I was 16, I was like shooting heroin.
Okay.
And I had went to rehab when I was 16 and then got out and then struggled with it a lot more. And then when I was 19, I went to rehab again. And when I got out, I figured I had to do something different, and that something was not living at home. So I lived in a halfway house with a bunch of random people, and honestly, it was a blessing. Like when I first got out of rehab, I got put into a halfway house with like a bunch of people who just got out of prison, pretty much. Mm-hmm. None of them were there for like addiction and shit like that, so I couldn't really relate to any of them. And one day, the owner of the halfway house, I lived there for like a couple months, and the owner of the halfway house called me up, and he was like, "Hey, I have this other opening in this other house," like just randomly. It was a little bit closer to where I worked, and I was like, "Yeah, sure, like I'm down." Yeah. And I moved there, and it was like a bunch of kids my age who had just gotten out of rehab. Like they were all trying to get clean. Like it's honestly a blessing. Like if you ask the majority of people who have lived in a halfway house, the majority of them are just like people who have to be there, like whether it's because of court, because they're just flat homeless. And then there's also people who like get out of rehab and they're not actually trying to get sober because they were in rehab for, you know, court or whatever. I just got super lucky, and I got put with a bunch, like 7 other dudes who were actually trying to get sober, and it you know, it just worked out that way. And
that's good. No, that's a good thing, man. Congratulations, Hell, on all that, because I know it's a hard thing to like try to beat that stuff, but it's good. Like even just randomly, I guess the owner or the manager or whatever, just telling you like, you probably don't belong here. Probably let's send you over here with a couple more people, probably more productive, more creative, and everything like that. And that just started this journey into you doing the tie-dye and shit like that. So that's a good thing. That's a real good thing.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Like, it's as if, I mean, God or the universe or whatever you want to call it, like, it was watching out for me, because not only did I get moved to that halfway house, but very shortly after moving into it, the whole tie-dye thing happened. And tie-dye was kind of like it became like what heroin was, you know what I mean? It was something that I could like obsess about and be happy about. And the way tie-dye is inherently, you tie and you dye the piece, and then you wait 24 hours while it batches, and then you open it up. Well, like that waiting period, it kind of like, there's like this weird buildup where you're excited about it. You know, you're excited the next day when you open it up, you're like, oh, hell yeah, I've been waiting all day for this. And you open it up and you see it, and it's like
Christmas Day for you, hell.
yeah, this shit's like firing off in your brain. You know, you're happy. You're like, oh, this is sick. And then you start doing like more intricate designs. And I mean, for the first like 2 or 3 years of doing it, I didn't really know exactly what the piece was going to turn out. So I could be at work. I was an electrician for 6 years, so I'd be like busting my ass on a construction site, and I could be having like the worst possible day at work, and I could just remember like, oh, dude, I got shirts to open up. It's gonna be sick.
That's dope. No, that's dope as hell. That's cool.
Good. That's cool that outlet became like your new like positive addiction. That's awesome.
Yeah, because you fucking good at tie-dyeing. Like, you good as shit. Like, I've never seen, like, I've seen people like tie-dye, and of course, like you said, like we tie-dyed all like when we were kids and stuff like that.
Kids and stuff,
That's like throwing a bath bomb in a tub, and then whatever the fuck happens to the shirt happens to the shirt. But like stuff I see you doing, like you actually got like names and like intricate like details. Like you put like 120 something rubber bands on the fucking shirt and come up with a design. I'm like, man, that shit crazy as hell. Like, are you self-taught, or like did you like go to a bunch of YouTube videos or something like that? Like how did that even like get like how you are now?
So in the very beginning, back like in 2015, there's a lot more stuff on the internet now, but back then there really wasn't a whole lot of stuff. Like there was like Sunburst and Spiral and just like a V or whatever. Yeah. So I kind of did all that, and then I found Facebook groups on Facebook. One that's just called tie-dyeing, and it's just a bunch of people, some who are brand new to it and some who've been doing it for a really long time. And there's a very small group of people who have been doing it since like the 80s, and they have formed their own style, and then but oddly enough just like continue doing that same style, and obviously they get better and better at it. But that kind of gave me like an idea, like, okay, this can be an art form. Like you can create something unique within, you know, the possibilities of what you can do with a shirt. And my goal kind of off rip when finding that was to combine like a lot of these styles and then make something unique, unique to me with it. And so that's kind of what you see with a lot of my work, like this. Okay.
I see it.
Yeah.
They're different.
This is a print. It kind of looks like a bunch of dots really, but like all these are small, like, okay, 1 second. I got you. I have one tied up. I'm going to go grab it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's cool as shit.
Yeah, I told you, he does some cool ass shit.
Right. My bad. I probably should have had that ready to go.
No, you good.
Nah, you good, man.
All right. So this is called Kenny style. This is a bunch of...
See, come on now. That shit is crazy. That shit is crazy.
So this is based off of an ancient Japanese form of tie-dyeing called shibori, where basically you just take long pieces of fabric and then you tie like concentric rings around it. This is a micro version of that, and this was started by a man named Paul Kenny, who I met in the tie-dye groups. I think he probably started doing it around the 80s, maybe, if I had to guess. And this style is kind of the style that is the glue that holds everything I do together. So I do like the honeycomb ties, I do the image work, and then to fill it all in, I use that style. Okay. It's typically done in like multiple steps and stuff like that. This is my first like unique thing that I did. It's called the combo style. It's just a mandala with the Kenny style, like holding it all together. The mandala is typically like on the chest, but I've, put it all sorts of different orientations and stuff like that over the years. But yeah, that's how I got into it. There's just, like I said, maybe like 5 people who, when I first started, who were like really unique and did crazy stuff with it, and they were my big inspirations, and I just kind of took off with it. And a lot of the stuff I do now, yeah, like I said, it was just inspired by them, and I just figured out how to like combine it all, and like figured out how the dye like runs and bleeds, because that's another weird thing about tie-dye is like once it's on the shirt, it's there forever. Like you can't really cover it up.
It's a fluid.
Yeah, it's a fluid
art.
And the way that fabric works is like when you put water on it, the water wants to travel to the driest point, so like the path of least resistance. So you have to, if you want dye to like stop at a certain place, you have to hit it with liquid in a different direction to like get it to stop there, and it like meets in the middle. Oh, so it's a lot of like balancing work. And also there's a whole chemical aspect that people don't even think of. Like first you have to have like professional grade dyes, but then you have the soda ash, which is the catalyst that like bonds the dye to the fiber. And then you have pre-dye mixture, which is like chemicals that you put in the dye to make it act a certain way. So like I use urea, which is organic nitrogen, and it helps keep the dye wetter for longer. So it kind of gives you like a brighter effect. It also affects like how the dye moves. And then sodium alginate, which is, it's actually seaweed, I believe. It's just like a thickener. It makes the dye more gel-like, so you can add more or less of that depending on, like these black lines. That's like more thick than the stuff on the outside of it, so that way it doesn't like bleed out.
I ain't gonna lie, Austin.
Man, that's crazy.
You know a lot of shit. You know a lot of shit. That's crazy. Because if I know that, I'm gonna get some food coloring or some shit and tie-dye shirt.
Nah, there's a lot more to it. Yeah, that's crazy. So you basically like,
you got that shit down for the science.
Yeah, he basically does, because you were saying that it wasn't that much information back then, so it was basically you guys like the tight-knit community trading secrets and trial and error. That's fucking amazing, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, the vast majority of it for me is just straight trial and error. I in my 3rd years, when I started getting obsessed with like the chemical aspect of it, and literally like every day I would come home and I would try like just tweaking something about the chemical, like how much I used of something, or like how I applied the dye, how long I batched it. Temperatures is like a big play. Like dye reacts differently when you apply heat to it at certain times, like in the application. And I literally just have like I don't have it anymore, but it was like a booklet where I would just write down all of these, like, it's just a bunch of scribbles really, which is why I didn't keep it. But like I would just scribble down like, on this shirt I did this, this, and this, and then like I would see the result of it. And I did that for probably like a year and a half before I found something that like really worked well for me. And when I say I did this every single day, like I literally sacrificed my social life for years to do this shit. Like I worked as an electrician, and I'd work all day, from 5 a.m. to 3 p.m. I'd come home and I would immediately either be tying or dyeing something. And my weekends were completely spent tying and dyeing. Like I had friends that I lived with, roommates from the halfway house, We were just renting apartments and houses and stuff like that. And it's funny too, like in the halfway house, I used to do it like on the back porch, which was just like a big open cement thing. There's probably like dye stains all over it still. And then after that, I moved into like a small apartment, like an apartment building. I did that like on the floor in the kitchen, which was like, it was really hard to not make a giant mess everywhere. I think I also, at that point in time, I had to like drive to a friend's house to like do it in their backyard too. And then I got a house and I was doing it in the lanai there. At least I had coverage, but like I'm literally crouched over crouched over a bin, like doing all this stuff. And then the next house after that, like I finally got a dedicated garage space. And my dream is I've moved it to like 3 different garages since then, and every single time I get like more and more like efficient with it. Like I have a portable AC unit for like temperature control and stuff like that.
I was just gonna ask you about that too.
Yeah.
I was just gonna ask you about that too.
Yeah, I have like sous vide that you use for like heating up meat and stuff like that. I use that for a couple, like the dye and the soda ash and stuff like that. I have heat lamps, all sorts of crazy stuff. I used to have like incubators for like chicken eggs, but it's hard to fit a bunch of stuff in there. So I just like made a bin with heat lamps and stuff. But yeah, my dream is my next house that I buy, when I do buy a house, I want to build a structure in the backyard, like specifically for my tie-dye. Mainly just like as a testament to myself, just being like, dude, I used to do this on the back porch of a halfway house, and now I built a fucking building.
Right. The fucking fort doing this shit.
Yeah. But also, it's kind of like a weird thing to have my work in my house. So my whole entire garage is for tie-dyeing. I have a whole entire room dedicated to the tying. I have this whole entire like office space. So, and then my girl has like a craft room where we do a lot of like sewing. I sew a lot of my tags and stuff. And it takes up a lot of space. So it'd be cool to actually have a house that was a house and not half of a business.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
I was in electrical school for 4 years, and by the time I was in my last year of it, like I knew for sure I wanted to quit my job to do my art full time. And my parents thought I was crazy. Like my friends were like, dude, you're about to be a journeyman electrician, like and I was like, dude, I'm telling you, like I know I can do this. At that point, I would make shirts all week long, and then on Sunday I would do a drop. Basically where I would just post a shirt and someone would hit me up and I would sell it, but I would have like 10 shirts or 15 shirts or whatever it was. Yeah. And it got to a point where I was selling out every Sunday, and I was matching my paycheck, of a freaking 6-day work week as an electrician with tie-dye. And I was just like, I did enjoy being an electrician, and it taught me a lot of things, but also like built up who I am. Like I'm very, like I like things to be a certain way. I like, working hard, just making sure everything's done on time. I got all of that from electrical work and the people that I worked with there. So I would never take for granted. I don't know the phrase that I would use, but like, I don't regret my time as an electrician, and I'm glad that I waited to quit my job. There's like a lot of tie-dyers now who just started doing it during COVID, and they got laid off of their job or whatever, and they started tie-dyeing full time, like right off rip, like not even being that great at it. And I can't help but to feel like the hustle of like having to have a day job and then coming home and doing tie-dye because I love to do it. It just gives me like an extra drive. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And there's some, like you said, there are some life skills that you acquired by your electrician job that you did have. But like that's pretty valid when you were saying that the job you had, like your paycheck was about the same. You was literally making the same from your craft, and that's that's really the good idea to like, yeah, you can totally like do this if you see that consistency of like weighing about the same. It's like, all right, so like I'm giving a lot of time to this in particular thing, and you like, I could just go ahead and just do my craft like full time, because like I'm giving so much time, so much of my day away from this, and I could probably do double or triple um, of was something I love to do versus me splitting my time in between my job and my craft that I'm doing.
Exactly. Yeah, that was exactly my thought process behind it all. And my parents just really wanted me to finish the electrical school, even though like I knew in my heart of heart, like I was never going to use that at all. Like I'm a journeyman electrician, and I'll probably never work for a company again, which is like I don't know, it takes 4 years of schooling and 4 years like to be in the trade to be able to get your journeyman's. But you know, in a way, I'm glad that I did that. I guess just to say that I did it.
Yeah,
it's better to do what you like anyway, or what you love.
Yeah.
Yeah, we was just kind of talking about that when you stepped away for a second. He was saying that like at one point, you know, his journey when he was starting, that you know, he was making about the same. His paycheck from his job was the same as the money that he was making for his art. So yeah,
yeah, fuck that. Quit.
That's when it's time to be done. It's like fuck all that stress, man.
Yeah, if you can make the same amount, especially starting off, whatever, you can make the same amount. You can just imagine when you like perfect your craft and you keep on building and building and building it too. It's like, yeah, fuck that. You made the right choice. That's cool.
Yeah, no, definitely.
I do have to ask this. How many shirts you done fucked up?
Oh. So my first like 3, maybe into the 4th year as well, I would mess up shirts like on a weekly basis. My first year, I used to take all my messed up shirts, and I had a friend who lived in the Salvation Army. So I used to just like throw a bag of shirts like over the fence. And
somebody's gonna wear them.
Yeah, true shit.
Yeah, that's true shit.
Yeah, and then after that, I would just give them to like friends, families, neighbors. The first house that I rented, I had a cool neighbor that I hung out with a lot. And when I moved, I literally had, bro, I have no idea, like probably under 100. But like way more than 50. But
it was a heavy ass bag.
Yeah.
Bag.
Yeah, and I just dropped it on his front doorstep, and he gave it to all of his friends and stuff like that. But yeah, I've always just had neighbors and friends that I gave the ones that I considered were messed up to. Sometimes I used to do like kind of like wholesale for smoke shops and stuff like that, and the ones that like I didn't like that much, I would just like throw in a pile like, oh, maybe I can wholesale this someday or something.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool as hell.
Smart. Instead of like wasting like shirts and stuff.
Somebody will wear them.
Somebody will wear it, even though it ain't the quite design that you was probably going for or something, or
somebody
like
for
it.
A client. Somebody don't like it.
Well, like a lot of people don't know the type of tie-dye I do, so when they do see something that I would consider to be a mistake, they're like, whoa, that's crazy, like, because it's not regular tie-dye, you know.
I'm still blown away that there's so many fucking styles of tie-dye in a shirt, and I'm like, you know, I see so many creators and stuff like that. You know, everybody has like their shops where they sell shirts and stuff like that. And a couple of them, oh yeah, I made a tie-dye sweatshirt. And it's just like regular tie-dye. And the way you were talking, I was like, damn, this feels like a master class for tie-dye. Like he's talking about seaweed techniques, fucking using all kinds of chemicals and stuff. And then he's talking about heat and temperature. I was like, man, I was just thinking, like, my mind was like basic, like CJ was saying that, you know, we all did it as kids, like in a little box, little tie-dye shirt, like, haha, look at this. Yeah, but you over there, Picasso. You like, hey.
Man.
Just imagine doing one thing. It could be anything at all, and doing that same thing every single day, like for years. Like you're bound to get good at it, or not even good at it, but you're bound to like just grow with it, like as a person, like make it unique, make it you, and then like as you grow with a person, like it grows with you. Like for the longest time, like I'm able to make pieces that like resonate with me, or like an idea that I have, or something that I feel now. Like it's not, for a really long time, it was just like geometric patterns, like doing mandalas and doing the Kenny style, and like just cool ways to fill in space and doing color schemes. Like for a while, I thought I had found like my unique style, and I was very obsessed. I would like remake it and do like small variations of it. And then I kind of felt as though I hit a wall. So then I started doing like color schemes, and I did every possible color scheme that I could think of that would look good with tie-dye. And then after a while, I started doing the scrunched image design, where you actually like lay the shirt flat and you draw the image on and then scrunch it and then apply the dye, and you're able to, obviously the possibilities are endless when you're able to put an image onto something. And then I always try to like iterate my combination style with like mandalas and the honeycombs and blah, blah, blah. And I tie it all together. But now I can make pieces that have like an emotional significance behind them, rather than it just being like, some style that
random,
I made up. Yeah.
At random. That's crazy. Yeah, because like even just like basically talking off like the heat control, just use like one of your shirts as an example. Like you had squirtles on both sides or something like that, I think. Mm-hmm. And I'm just thinking like, all right, now you did that, but how the fuck did you just stop it? Like exactly where you wanted to. And then you still had like the other, you had like a whole totally different design in the middle. Mm-hmm. That didn't have nothing to do with like the Pokemon and stuff like that. So I was like, man, a lot of that shit just blew my mind. And you telling me that you got to be so precise with like temperature and like the dye, and then you say it's another dye that cuts out that color and probably concentrates something else or some other shit. I'm like, yo, this is crazy.
you know what's crazy? The first image in my head when you was talking about like all the temperature and being precise and like dipping and diving it on different parts of the shirt. That like Olympic sport where they like on the ice and they got the broom and shit. Yeah, that's what when you was talking earlier, that was like the first thing. I don't know why it popped in my head, but like when he was explaining the shirt shit, and like I was just picturing that like you like making the design, but like you like doing it like one person's like taking the heat and putting it in the water, like it's like going through the shirt and shit like that. That's what I was like, damn, man. That's intricate as fuck.
Yeah, that's dope. Yeah, you gotta be one precise motherfucker to do stuff like that. Like, cause my hand ain't steady enough. Like, if you tell me to write my signature 5 times, it's probably gonna be a different signature every damn time. That's how bad I am. I ain't gonna lie to you.
So since you kind of dealing with the I would say, what do we want to call it, like a lucid like art, since you're dealing with like a lucid art, are like any of your shirts like remotely slightly almost the same? Because I bet each time like you do one, they're like somewhat slightly different from one, since it's like a fluid art that you kind of doing and stuff. So
it would definitely be nearly impossible for it to be the exact same.
Yeah, I think so.
But I could come like extremely close consistently. Like I could make this same shirt, a bunch of times if I wanted to. But I'm at a point now where like I don't get excited about recreating things. Well, so I do auctions during the week. So I make like special one-of-one pieces that I'll never make again. I mean, sometimes I do like print runs of them, but as far as like making it by hand, I'll never make the design again. I usually make about 2 of those a week, and I auction them on my Instagram. And then on Sundays, I release one in every size, small through 3XL, so about 6 shirts. And those are quicker, more production. That's this stuff. Like This is what I make for the Sunday night drops, which it's more affordable than the auctions. The auctions can go anywhere from like 400 to 1,000 or more. Like I've had shirts go for like $2,600. Yeah.
Damn.
It's all about
designer.
consistency. Oh yeah, dude. I
You
mean,
designer now. Yeah, you might as well slap a Gucci on there, man. Shit, you designer.
I would say he need a frame. Put them bad boys in a frame. Let somebody hang it up. That's art right there.
Yeah.
That's artwork.
A lot of it is art, though, for real.
Yeah, it is art.
A lot of people definitely do hang them up. You know, like put them behind like a jersey case and stuff like that.
Yeah, like a shadow box.
Yeah, I don't blame them. That's cool. Yeah, I don't blame them doing that.
Yeah, I would definitely do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so funny. Like in the comments, you know, when I have a video go viral or whatever, and you see people like, "Oh, how much could this possibly cost?" And then somebody's like, "Oh, I heard he sells a shirt for $1,000 or whatever." You know, people just like talk shit. They don't actually know.
Mm-hmm.
But someone's like, "Oh, well, it's not like it's like Gucci or whatever." And it's just that's such a funny way to think about something because Gucci while it is designer, it's still like mass produced, and people are paying for like the Gucci logo. Like what I do is almost entirely different. While yes, it's still a shirt or pants
you do hand like every piece you touch.
Yeah, it's
And what's funny is I noticed recently in the in like the design world or designer world, like Louis Vuitton recently did a runway show where they had like suits that looked like hand painted and stuff like that. And I'm like, interesting. I wonder if these like larger brands are seeing that these more like unique art pieces are doing better now. They're trying to like iterate art onto designer clothing. So I'm curious to see if they continue to do that or how it goes.
You know what? Now that you mention that, I think like these bigger brands, they do see like I don't want to call you like a little guy, but like you're fairly up. You know, you're not like a corporation or anything like that, but like you get what I'm saying. They're like watching you guys, and in a sense, they're trying to like copy and like mass produce everything that you guys do. Cause like it's funny because like I kind of see it like not only with because I have like gone into like clothing stores like recently, and I've seen like a whole shit ton of like tie-dye, and I was always wondering like why there's a whole bunch of shit of fucking like aisles of like tie-dye stuff. And then like when you're talking, like I'm thinking about that, and then like if I think about it too, because my wife's like an artist too, and like even with like her art medium, she's like does resin and stuff. Like I'm seeing full kits in Walmart, and they weren't there like a year ago. And I'm like, that shit is crazy to me. Like these motherfuckers see what you guys are doing, and they're like, you know, we want some of this money that these smaller guys or medium-sized guys are making, and we want to get into this field. And they're trying to do it the most shittiest, like fast way that they can. Yeah, of course. But I just find that shit hilarious that like they're just like they see what you guys are doing, and they're like, how can we mass produce this shit and like try to like get people to like be interested in our shit. And it's funny because like the shit doesn't work too, which is hilarious at the same time.
Well, definitely it creates like a lot of hobbyists as well.
It does.
You know? And it's funny. You know, there's like those like viral video pages on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok even where they'll take other people's videos and they'll post them and they'll monetize them and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Well, there's been a couple of those that have reached out to me and were like, you know, do we have your permission to use your comment or content? And they have like 11 million followers or whatever. So I'm like, yeah, sure. And, you know, I'm thinking they're just going to share my stuff. But what they do is they have like a tie-dye kit and they're like, do you want to make cool tie-dye? And then they play my video and they're like link in bio.
Hey, shit.
They're like link in bio for a tie-dye kit. So they're trying to get people to buy their like Amazon. Sell some
shit off your shit,
And then what sucks is the people that seen your shit before are like, oh, I know that dude. I'm gonna definitely buy this kid if he supports this shit. Oh, that's fucking crummy. It's fucked up.
And like because I already gave them the permission to use my video, I can't do anything about it. I can't be like, yo, take that down. Like what the fuck? Like
man.
That's fucked up. That's corporation 101 right there.
Yeah,
that happens like frequently too. Like, well,
was it just one specific? Was it just one specific?
It's probably
video?
It's happened maybe like 5 times. I mean, I've had a bunch of videos go viral, so like I almost frequently have like these viral video pages like reach out to me and just be like, "Hey, can we use this video for blah blah blah?" And you know, sometimes they don't do that weird sketchy shit. Like sometimes they just post it and I believe they're monetizing it. Like they make an edited version of my video and they monetize it, which whatever. Like as long as they're tagging me and
tagging you.
Yeah.
I'd be like, hey, if you need us to tell them to fuck off, we can do that for you. Like, nah, man. Get this man his rightful crown. Y'all over here trying to make money off of him.
Yeah, that's some sketchy shit though. That they don't. I'm gonna say they take your content, but they get your permission to use your content that you give them. But of course, you don't know what the fuck they finna do with it other than promote it a little bit. But if they doing sketchy ass shit like that, that's some bullshit.
I would see if it was that one in particular video, they don't give them the right to use all your shit. So like if you gave them permission for that one specific, they can't do that shit with the other shit. I'm pretty sure if you like lawyer up or some shit.
Yeah. I mean,
luckily it's that serious.
If it's that serious. But if you don't care about it like that, and it's just like one out of a million things, but you know, sometimes that shit could go sideways, like the shit that they make and stuff like that, and all that type of shit. Yeah, especially like, you know, we hear about all these companies like doing half baked shit, and they're like selling all these chemicals, and then somebody go and fucking burn themselves.
Pink sauce. That pink mild sauce shit, whatever the fuck that shit was. Like pink ketchup, whatever the fuck.
Yeah, like shit like that. And you know, and then the first letter would be a letter for you, and you be like, I don't even associate with these motherfuckers. You know?
Yeah, luckily it hasn't gotten. I've only seen it happen a couple of times. I wish I could remember the name of the pages just so I could like warn other people that would be a possibility. But yeah, I mean, I've never had somebody reach out to me and be like, "Oh, I bought your tie-dye kit and whatever." You know what I mean? Luckily, tie-dye is non-toxic, so like I don't think anything crazy like that could happen. And it wouldn't be on me; it would be on them. Like they're selling it through Amazon, so I'd assume that the customer would like, you know.
Warnings and all that shit. Pay attention to all that. All right, so I got 2 questions, I guess. My first one, before I forget, I'm gonna rewind a little bit. You said something about selling prints. Mm-hmm. How the fuck do you do that with tie-dye shirts?
All right, so I used to think that you would only be able to make prints with tapestries. I had a friend locally. Unfortunately, he passed away. But I had a friend who he worked at like a photography place, and he had this big room, and we would pin a tapestry to a black wall, and he would like put his camera way far back, and you know it's like some fancy, you know, really expensive camera, and he would take a couple pictures of it and then Photoshop it all together, like, you know, stitch it together so it'd be super high resolution, and then I could like format that. They were so high resolution that I could actually reprint that same tapestry at the same size, and you know, and it would still look good. But anyways, so he passed away, and I actually stopped doing prints for like a couple of years, and last year I was like, damn, I wonder if I could just buy a camera and like learn how to use it, because it would be worth it. It's a lot to be making like one of one pieces, and like that's it. Like it's gone forever. When, you know, I have videos that are going, you know, they get super viral, and everyone's like, "How do I get it? How do I get it?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry, like that was that."
It's gone.
Yeah,
it's gone. That's right.
I mean, like I made this shit 10 years ago.
Literally. I mean, which is still true for the original. Like I'll never remake that shirt, but I do limited print runs. But anyway, so I spent a lot of money on a camera last year, and set it all up in my garage, and learned how to use it. Like taught myself how to use it. I had to buy a new computer so I could use Photoshop, and I had to teach myself how to use Photoshop. All this was like massive learning curves, because I'm not like that type of, like, I'm not great at computers, I found out.
Found out the hard way.
Luckily, like once you have a nice enough computer, using Photoshop is actually like fairly intuitive. What was I always thought Photoshop was super hard, but I realized it was just because I had some like shitty like Dell 3-in-1 computer, and
man,
so like you go on Photoshop and like it would just freeze for like 3 minutes at a time because I'm dealing with like large files. So I was like, man, this shit's difficult. It's not that it was difficult; it's just that my computer was shitty.
So you're too slow.
The computer couldn't even process that.
Yeah. But yeah, so basically I have a giant like whiteboard and I draped black velvet over it, and I have little black magnets, and I pin the shirt up on like so it's perfectly straight and flat, and I have like a measured distance that my camera goes. I measure a different distance for like lights, and I just zoom in. I can like zoom in like to where you can only see like that much of the shirt, and I can actually see the fibers of the shirt, like the weave of the fabric.
Oh,
and then I just zoom it back out, take a picture of it, and then Photoshop it. There's a lot of editing that's involved because you can't really just take a picture of a shirt and print it back onto a shirt. You have to like expand it, and you have to consider that like what's going on the sleeves is going to be at different angles.
Yeah. That's cool.
That's cool.
So I just do limited runs of that pretty much. For all my character pieces, I have to outsource to like China or Pakistan or wherever, just because, and I have to do limited runs where I actually purchase them. I get them back to the house and I sign them and then sell them like that. For pieces that are original to me, I use a company called Printful. Basically, you just like edit the design. Edit a design on their website, and then I order them, sample them, make sure they're all good, make sure the design's in place, and then I'm able to just put that on my website and then just drop ship. So the customer buys the shirt off my website, they make it and send it to the customer. And I still honor like the limited run thing where I'll just say like this is limited for this week, like this design will only be available for this week, and then I just advertise it all week long and take it off the site. Yeah, I don't. More recently, I've been leaving some stuff that were actually my older designs that the guy who passed away had scanned for me. I mean, a lot of those tapestries I did probably like 3 or 4 years ago, but the scans themselves are, special to me because that guy was a cool guy and he taught me a lot. And but also
value.
Yeah, but also they're tapestries that are like 8 foot by 6 foot. So I'm able to use that same tapestry in like a bunch of different ways. Like it's really easy to orient such a large image onto like different, I could do
pieces
like,
and stuff.
Yeah, I could do like
space you could just do it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's cool.
So yeah, that's what I do with the prints, and luckily with the prints, it's given me a lot more like financial freedom and the ability to like put more time into my art because I'm.
It's okay. It's all right.
It's okay. We all got kids.
It's all right.
Yeah. He's 5 months old now. He's starting to yap.
Congratulations. Yeah, kids don't care. It's all right. It's all right. That's cool though. All right. So that you brought that up, now I got to add on to another question. I guess, do you like, because I didn't deep dive into like the TikTok and everything like that, but do you actually like show people how to do like the certain designs and stuff that you do? Like, so, like a master class, I guess, like Malcolm said earlier, like a master class. Do you got something like that going on?
I don't do any master classes. A lot of the stuff I do takes like an extremely long period of time, and the core basics, like a lot of the stuff that people want to know how to do, it's available on YouTube now, like the mandalas and the honeycombs and stuff like that. Unfortunately, other people uploaded it before I did, and I feel like I'll just let them do that because I notice with a lot of people who do like the tutorial type stuff, people are looking at their page or their YouTube or whatever it may be. They're looking at their page like for tutorials for how to do this thing. They're not looking at them as artists. They're not looking at them to like support their art. They're just like, oh, what is this guy gonna teach us how to do next?
Right, it's a how-to video.
Yeah.
So like I don't do a lot of like, here's how you do this type of thing because I don't want people to like. So with tie-dye, people have always seen tie-dye is like this novelty thing. You look up a video or you get like a little pamphlet and it shows you how to like twist a spiral and do all that. Mm-hmm. And now there's millions of people who have made a spiral. There's millions of people. I mean, there's Paul Kenny showed people how to do this on Facebook after I learned it. But then there's a bunch of people who just made Kenny styles for a really long time, and that died out. And then it's like the next thing. It's like these weird fads. Like, I don't really want my art to be somebody's like fad that they do for a couple months and then, you know, like it dies off. Like, I want to be able to like keep creating and just keep doing it. At some point in time, like, I'll teach people. People can reach out to me if they have a specific question. I'd gladly like point them in the right direction. I just don't want to make the content. I don't want to like put on that thing of like, here's how you do it, guys. Like,
you probably burn out your style. You probably burn out yourself just trying to keep up with that type of, I guess image or whatever the case is. Like, just all probably a burnout that you just want to avoid and stuff like that. I get that.
I get it, because like your market, like, there's a ton of people that are like, I guess me and my wife got this joke. They're like crafters. They like jump from whatever is like trending and whatever. So like, I totally understand what you're saying as far as like the whole saturating like your whole market of like, but at the same time, I would say don't limit yourself, because like, even if you did one and they came to like watch a tutorial, 9 times, I would say, no, I'm gonna say 10 out of 10 times, like, they're still not going to be able to duplicate your particular style. Like, it's never going to look like yours. Even if you did like a tutorial on like how to do it, like, they're not even going to get remotely close to looking like you. So like, that's one thing you don't have to worry about with like your specific market, because like, you'll get even more, I guess, more people coming to you like, yo, like, I like this and I respect you, because like, I tried what you taught, and that shit seemed hard. So I'm just gonna stick to buying your shit.
I respect Love Rip Hill. You ain't gotta worry about me trying it. I respect it from afar.
So I totally understand this. Your perspective is on the art end of it, because like, that does get frustrating with like people that just come in and just like think that your medium is like easy. And like, cause like, you telling us all this shit with the tie-dye, cause like, I had no idea. I had no idea that like, it was like, it can be that complicated. Cause you like, when you could stop the color from spreading. I never knew that shit. I never knew that shit. If somebody was to sit down and tell me that shit, like you did, like, I would have never thought that shit. Cause like, in our minds, and what's crazy is like, these craft people, they in their mind too, like, they think that it's a simple thing, because they see like the simple side of it. Like, oh, I just need to do the colors that I like and just dip the shirt in and dip it out, and voila. And it's like, and then the way you explain it, I was like, God damn! I was like,
it's definitely a science for that shit. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Yeah. So like, I was saying, man, you're golden, man. Like, you good. Like, I don't think anybody's gonna steal or take your style, because they can't replicate that shit just based off of everything you told us so far.
So there's definitely I'll touch on a few things here. First off, I just want to say, like, I would never try to like discourage somebody from tie-dyeing. I would never try to discourage somebody from like even attempting something that I do. Mm-hmm. If they had like a specific question, I've wasted tons of time just like answering DMs, like helping people. Obviously my DMs are like crazy right now, so I'm not going to answer everyone's questions and stuff like that. But I mean, I can't even tell you how many people have like reached out to me and asked me questions and like sent me pictures of their shirts. And like, I mean, it probably happens like once a week or once every 2 weeks where somebody's like sending me a picture, like, oh, here's this thing that I made. Like, how do I do this? And whatever. And like, I'll help them out when I have the time, but, also another thing I want to say is I made a couple years ago, I made a video, and I do sell it on my website. It teaches all about the chemical aspect of tie-dyeing. And the premise of the video is that you can take everything that is in that video that I made and apply it to your own style and make your own unique thing with it. It gives you several different ways that you can apply the dye, apply soda ash for several, different effects and stuff like that. So that's kind of me being like, I will help you guys. Like I made this video. I spent a lot of money making the video, money and time and knowledge and experience and stuff like that, which is why I charge money for it. But that's just if you were to just start tie dye like tomorrow and you watch that video, it would give you a massive head start that I wish I had. Honestly, like my colors weren't really shit for the first like 3 years of doing it. They were like muddy and inconsistent and this and that. Like by watching that video that I made, you could at bare minimum have like fairly bright colors, decent colors, and like have a good starting point in which you can take off and do literally like any style that's out there.
That's awesome.
That's cool.
Now, you have to realize like there's saturation. Like when you're saturating pleats like these, there's certain, it's just experience that you have to know. Like people hit me up all the time, like, oh, my honeycombs, my mandalas or whatever, it's not saturating. And I'm just like, honestly, it's just try applying it for longer, try applying it differently, like go left to right, start in the middle, like whatever it may be. Use different dye. Like a lot of people, for any tie-dyers that would be watching this right now, like I always tell people, so on these websites where you buy dye from, there's primary colors that are the pure color, and then they sell mixtures. The mixtures are that's how they make their money, is by selling mixtures of dye, because they're just taking the primary and they're mixing it with either another primary or they're mixing it with salt to make it a lighter dilution of that. The problem with that is that the salt that they put in there, the dye, when you add water to the dye starts to bond and hydrolyze to the salt and whatever else they put in that water. So it's going to be, it's not going to be like a bright shade, but also it's not going to like spread well because it's already bonded. So a lot of people like buy, you go and there's like this long list of colors and you're like, oh yeah, that looks like a cool shade. This one looks, but like one, it's usually doesn't look like that actually. Like doesn't look like the color. And then two, you have all these saturation problems. I for the most part just use like the primary colors and I dilute them or I make them stronger. I mix them, and that's how I create all the shades that I do.
So you do it yourself. So instead of buying their secondary colors, you use the primary and you adjust it how you would like it, like yourself and stuff. That's cool.
And then once you do that, like you can understand like how to create consistency with how you saturate things because you're using the primaries. Like you can just be consistent with it rather than like relying on whoever made the dye to like make that batch properly and stuff like that. Like there's a lot of inconsistencies when you're buying.
Damn, dude, you got like it's like fucking blowing my mind, man. Like you have this shit down to a science, like you said earlier. Like that's fucking crazy. Like you like fuck this shit. I'll mix my own damn colors. Getting it to the consistency that you want, and like you talking about adding salt and shit. I'm like, damn, dude, you got a fucking PhD.
They don't even know it.
I'm like, damn. Yeah, that's fucking dope, man.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
But yeah, you think of like any artist that you follow. The majority of them, some artists do like workshops and stuff where they'll come out and they have people like come out and you do workshop. Honestly, I'd probably do that eventually, when my kid's older and I'd be able to travel or something and people are still that interested in tie-dyeing. Like that would be cool. But like you're not seeing like Alex Gray or Chris Dyer like do some like, here's how I paint my style of painting. Like obviously painting takes a lot longer than tie-dyeing, but like the stuff that I do, my shirts can take anywhere between 8 to 20 hours of tying and dyeing. Like, so imagine me trying to make a video that's fucking even 8 hours long. Like, and this is like multiple steps. Like, so this shirt, for example, so like this the fist, and then the fist, these lines, and then right outside of the lines. That was one step, and then I let that batch. I washed it out.
Yeah, let it dry and everything like that, like all that. Yeah, damn, you get back to it.
Then I came back and tied all this in, and if you notice, like this is a straight pleat, like going vertically. So this pleat actually comes past this, and comes past this. So
I can even see like when you were saying that you do your own colors and shit. Like some of those blues, like it might be on the same like octagon or what the case is, but like the shade gets like a little darker and shit like that. At the top, a little bit lighter and shit. So like. Yeah, you got that shit down, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Like I can tell, like even in the green, like it's a light green at the bottom, but then it gets a little darker as it goes up and shit like that. That's crazy, man.
That is like crazy.
But like even the first step of this piece, the scrunched image design, like there was two dudes, Josh Shep and Nathan Riggle, who I always looked up to when I first started tie dyeing. They do like the scrunched image design. Like I said earlier, you just lay the shirt flat, you draw an image on, and you literally take like tweezers or like a chopstick or something, and you're just like pleating the design until it's all scrunched up. And I would periodically attempt to do it for like years. Like I would just, one day I'd be like, all right, I'm going to try it out. And I'd throw a shirt on the ground and like try to do it, and I'd fail. Couldn't figure it out. And then one day after trying it, like who knows how many times, I finally figured out how to do it. And then even from there, I had to worry about like how to mix the dye so the dye wouldn't bleed in that scenario, because I was used to dyeing stuff like this. But now I'm dyeing like this flat scrunch thing, and there's a lot of like experimentation that goes into that. So like say if I were to try to teach somebody how to do this specific design, the very first step, which by the way, like the image design, it really was just the fist and these lines. To tie it, I still had to do the shirt flat, so it still probably took me about like 3 hours to scrunch the whole thing and tie it all like so that it doesn't fold in on itself, because that's the thing that happens with those scrunch shirts. Like you can have it all scrunched up and you're tying it to like get it to hold together, and you might pull the string too hard and the thing will just like fold over like taco on itself. And then you have to like very carefully like cut that and then like lightly do that and then kind of re-scrunch everything back together. But it's experience, and I would hate for somebody to say, if I did make an 8-hour video or whatever to make this design, I would hate for somebody to see that I made the video and then them just assume that they can make the shirt because I made a video.
Yeah, they watched that video. Yeah.
And they'll never even try it. They're just like, oh, this is just like some cool craft thing I could do someday maybe. And they'll never even do it. But right there, the respect for it as like an art form or whatever, it's it's gone. It's just some cool craft that they can do now, and I just don't really want. And that's the thing is like they're not even realizing like this is difficult as hell. Like you have to put so much experience into doing this.
You gotta tell me twice.
Yeah, you need a disclaimer.
Oh God! Every video you post, don't try this at home.
Not even. This is a PhD level class. This is a high level mastery class. If you don't have the basics down, please do not attempt.
That's dope though. So you say some designs take up to like 20 hours. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. That's like a whole.
That's a whole damn day. Shit. Yeah. Shit, you about to say it? Shit, are you right?
Oh yeah, literally. Sometimes I wake up at 7:30 in the morning and I do my morning stretches. I drink my tea and I'll literally just sit in my room and just work on one thing until like 10 o'clock that night.
Shit.
That's good though that you got your own, like you on your own time zone though. Like you don't have to like worry about like a time crunch type thing either. Like you can just work how you want to work, how you feel comfortable and shit too. So that's a great thing too.
Are you doing like commission shirts, or are you just doing like you just creating and then you put up whatever you create and then people just buy it?
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. So I do the special pieces during the week that I auction, and then I do a weekly drop every Sunday. That's more like production stuff, and and those are more affordable. That's usually in between like $100 to $300. And that's like, instead of doing commissions, that's my way of like letting the general public own, get my art.
Something.
Every Sunday at the same exact time, there's always a new opportunity to get a shirt. I get so many people that message me on a daily basis that literally it would be impossible for me to do custom orders. Like imagine me having a list, like if I accepted everyone's stuff, let's say I took prepayment, and my list, like genuinely, I'm not bullshitting, it would probably be like over 8 months long, like of me just it'd probably be, it could even be longer than that. If you think like I get anywhere between like 5 to sometimes more than 20 DMs in a day. Usually it's more than 20 if I like posted a video or something, because then those are new people coming in.
Yeah, you booked them busy.
Yeah.
So like imagine that you paid money up front for a piece, and then I told you, it was I would say obviously it's an 8-month waiting list, and if they'd be willing to give me the money still, imagine like waiting 8 months and then First off, somebody would probably hit me up like 4 months and be like, "Where's my shirt?" And I'd be like, "Well, I told you it'd be 8 months for one." But also, imagine I sent them a picture of the shirt 8 months later, and they're like, "Yeah, actually, like, can you change this? Like, I don't like it. I don't because it's 8 months of time has gone by. Like, maybe you're
not even feeling that vibe no more and shit like that. Like,
now I got to give this person their fucking money back after holding it for 8 months. Like, it doesn't make any sense to do that. And then also to not accept prepayment, it's the same thing. Except now I've made the shirt for this person. They're like, "Yeah, I don't want it anymore." It's like,
same damn boat. So that's crazy. Yeah, you were saying that you like when you do get your pieces in from like China and Afghanistan and stuff like that, that you sign them. Are you getting like? So I guess people are like getting like one of like 100s and shit like that and stuff like that. So
usually when I do the in-person, the on-hand ones from China or whatever, I usually do about 50, like a minimum of 50 of them. I used to get them from Pakistan, and they did like the polyester, like stretchy material, and just over time I'm all about like quality, and I found a company that actually sublimates onto cotton, which is that's like people's preferred thing. Some people are actually like allergic to polyester, so it's cool to offer a print that they can still wear, and it doesn't wash out or fade or anything like that. So the only thing is like sometimes the sizing's weird, because like I don't know why they make theirs. It'll be like super tall or something like that. But not always. I try not to do a whole lot of those. Like the only time I really do the Chinese ones is when it's a character, obviously, because I have to worry about copyright. But also like
that's cool.
The piece had to have enough reaction for me to feel as though I should do it.
To even do that, go that far with it, or whatever, or invest in it, I guess. Yeah, that's cool.
Exactly.
That's cool as hell. Yeah, because I can only imagine like people get like, that's why we were saying like, what you doing right now is the art. It's art, because you're signing like I love to like Malcolm know how I am, like I love art and shit. So I love to get like a 1 of 1 and like a 1 of 25 or like shit like that. Like I love shit like that because that's dope as hell to me. So that's cool as fuck.
Hell yeah.
Oh man.
You, I ain't gonna lie. I ain't no tie-dye was that damn deep.
Yeah, I had no fucking idea, bro.
I had no idea tie-dye was that damn deep, because you didn't blew my mind with that shit. Especially just like you have, because at some point, shit, I'd be worried about getting like a stain on my shirt or some shit like that, because it might bleed to the back or some shit when I take it off. And like you just got that shit down to a T, like the science behind it. That's dope as hell. Like, because you said you've been doing it for like 8 years, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so like the fact that you got that shit down to a science the way you do, like, I mean, you studied, like you actually fell in love with this shit, like you actually like doing this shit for like a living, and like you just love doing it.
Have you ever considered making a book out of your scribble notes? Because like that in itself is like a fucking cookbook for tie-dye people. Like,
that's the funny thing is like almost all of those scribble notes that I taken, like it was all to get to the result that I'm at now. So like the whole book would kind of be like
obsolete. Yeah.
I mean, it'd be cool if I like tweaked a bunch of stuff and like, because back then also when I was like writing down all the variables, I wasn't as good at the technique and application as I am now. So I'd be curious to see like different like chemical aspects applied to like what I do now. I think it would just like be more like runny and like the dye would split differently and stuff. It could make cool effects that some people would be interested in, but I don't know that I would like feel comfortable selling all the information for most people would just get it to get the one that I'm using.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get right now.
Yeah, and then next thing you know, like somebody's posting that on Facebook or whatever, and then nobody's buying the book anymore. So
somebody leak Austin notes.
Yeah,
that's cool. Do you go back? Well, like you probably took a picture or like seen a post of like your first shirt or something like that. You go back and like, God damn, that was ugly.
I know every artist does it. Every artist does it. Like they see they first, and then they current, and they current. Look at that first, and they be like, ugh, I used to do that.
Yeah, it's I mean, I look at it from a perspective of like, if I had known what was possible, like if I had went back in time and like told myself like, or showed myself like, yo, this is what's possible with this.
Yeah.
Then, I mean, honestly, I probably would have like cracked under the pressure and been like, damn, I suck at this. Like, I'm just going to give up.
You came back to the past to show off, motherfucker? God damn.
But I mean, I probably would have got a lot better a lot sooner. I think a lot of the stuff, like the majority, like the first couple of years, all the stuff I made, it was just from a lack of like not knowing what was possible.
Yeah, that's cool.
And I guess slowly over time just figured out like what was possible through experimenting and
just trying shit out.
Yeah, that's fucking awesome.
I ain't gonna lie, Austin, you done blew my mind on tie-dye tonight.
Yeah, you did. Especially mixing colors and stuff.
Yeah, I'm not even an artist. Yeah, I'm not even an artist, so I don't even know half of the shit that you even like describing right now. But I can only imagine like, don't buy the cheap shit.
Yeah.
Like buy the shit that you're gonna use and like actually counts like the actual like good shit because you have, I'm pretty sure you've been doing this for 8 years, so like you have like a consistent like I guess person that you go to, or like a website or whatever that you go to, and shit like that. So.
Yeah, I actually use a couple different companies for specific colors because for some reason, like some companies' primaries, though in theory they should all be the same, they're different. I don't know if that's because they get it from a different manufacturer or if it's. I know it comes in like batches because over the years. The primary colors like look different. Like the powder of it will look different. Like the color purple specifically has like changed drastically from the time that I started to now. The shade itself has been always pretty much the same, but like how the powder looks is different. But yeah, so my advice to somebody like starting out would be buy all the primaries from all the companies and see which one you like the best for like saturation, for vibrancy, mess around with like mixing it weak, mixing it, thick, whatever, like,
see what works for you essentially.
Yeah. Cause and maybe, there's a lot of people who don't try to like imitate me. There's a lot of people who do imitate like the combination style and whatnot. And, but there's also people who try to be super individual with it and unique. And, I think that experimenting with a bunch of different colors could, like maybe somebody who does a different style than me, maybe they wouldn't benefit from using my exact colors. Like they probably find their own stuff that like moves differently for them, for their style,
Right.
Are there any particular colors that scream out, yo, this is Austin's work, like that you mainly use all the time?
For a long time, I used to use this color. It was called it was like kind of like a jade color. And I would like instead of using this this turquoise color where it's like a kind of like a lighter blue. Imagine that, but it had like a little bit of green in it. A lot of my rainbow color schemes that I generally use about like 13 shades of like the whole rainbow. So it's like It's violet, purple, magenta, red, orange, yellow, gold yellow, lime green, and then a normal green that I mix. Greens are weird because you have to mix them with blue and yellow, so you kind of have to find like an exact balance. Yeah. And then I use typically 3 different shades of blue: turquoise, cerulean, which is like a mid shade, that one, and then cobalt, which is a darker one. I think the majority of people who know tie-dye, if they've seen a piece, they could probably say that it was mine, whether it be based on the color. If it's like the rainbow, they would probably be able to see that was mine. But if it was like, I also do a lot of unique color schemes that other people don't use. I do one that I've called Molten Ash, which is like a scarlet, like a deeper red, and then the whole grayscale. And then Inferno, which is just like yellow, gold yellow, orange, fuchsia, magenta. Fuchsia is kind of like a pinkish red. Magenta, grape, and then violet. And I do it so it kind of looks like lava coming up. So I use a lot of yellows, orange, gold, red, all that stuff up top, and then down low I only use red, magenta, grape, violet. So it kind of like looks darker down low and brighter up high. But yeah, over time I could keep going on. I thought about that. I was like, I have a bunch of.
No, you're good.
But yeah, I definitely think there's a lot of color schemes that somebody who tie-dyes would say like, oh yeah, that's Northern Lights, or that's Molten Ash or whatever.
I'm gonna ask one last question, Austin, and we're gonna wrap it up. Have you created your very own color?
I wish. That'd be crazy.
A brand new color that only you know about.
Oh man, I wish. That'd be sick as hell. Have you guys ever heard of that? Like people who can see colors that other people don't see?
Yeah, like everybody's like vision. Well, I know there's like a lot of people that see like not the same shades as like other people or something like that.
I forget the name of these people, and honestly, like I hate to be like pessimistic. I kind of feel like they're lying, but there's some people. there's some people who claim to be able to see hold on. It's Roy G Biv. I don't know if it's 6 or 7 or whatever the primary colors. There's people who claim to be able to see one color more that nobody else can see. Like when they see a rainbow, they're like, oh yeah, there's another color like on top of purple or whatever. And they're like there's a specific name for it, but yeah, that made me think of that. I don't know.
Got a fucking higher power. They don't want to tell nobody.
That's funny. He's like, that's bullshit.
I mean, it's got to be, right? Like, a color only you can see. Sure. Like, how could you possibly prove that? There's no way to prove that. You're obviously lying. Next
time somebody say that sounds kind of racist, buddy. That's what you should say. A color only you can see? All right. Keep that same energy, buddy. That's funny as hell, though.
Oh, man.
Malcolm, you got anything else?
No, my mind is still like confuckle. Yeah.
What?
Confuckle.
That a real word? You making shit up now?
Hey, shit, might as well. There's people out here seeing other
colors.
Words. Yeah.
Fuck it. Something funny. I don't know if y'all know, like Google gives like awards to people like for like the first like searches or some shit like that, I guess. Like you search some shit out. Yeah, like you search something out, and like if nobody's has ever tried to search this shit out on Google before, like they give you an award or some shit. Like they give you a plaque or some shit.
What?
It's a wild ass shit, yeah.
Yeah, that's wild.
Check it out.
Check it out. Try to be the first person like, what is this made out of? And like insert whatever it is, and like, congratulations.
I want to see what the screen look like when the hell you find something, when they can't find something. When Google can't find something, that's a goddamn problem.
Yeah, the internet's been out for a whole while, a couple decades now. So like, I highly doubt that there's something that wasn't searched before. Because like, if people searching like why does my butthole itch? Like, I'm pretty sure there's nothing under the sun that yeah, I'm just saying.
Have you ever tried to like think of a sentence that's never been spoken before? I guess it'd be like the same thing.
Yeah, it's the same.
That's a good goddamn question.
Yeah, it's the same exact thing. Because like you think, shit, I'm still kind of mindfucked that a fun fact that I learned that not everybody else has like an inner monologue.
Oh, I heard that recently too.
Yeah, like
it's crazy.
Yeah,
talk to themselves?
No, like when people like some people have like this, like they can hear themselves like reading or thinking or whatever, and some people don't.
And some people like are purely reactionary creatures. Like they just react to what's going on. They have no actual like internal thought.
Like CJ, when you're reading something like a book or something,
come on,
like
brother, you know I don't read. I watch movies.
I do you one better. When you read anime subtitles, right? Are you reading them out loud, or you can hear yourself reading in your head?
I don't do either. I don't know.
Cause like, are you reading
I'm probably just looking at the screen. No, I'm reading them out loud, but I'm probably just looking at the screen and I'm probably reading them in my head. Maybe. I'm not sure.
You have an inner, cause I have it too. Like and it's weird cause like basically off this little fun fact, we're like the odd people out. Like not everybody has like an internal monologue. Yeah. And what's even crazier too, like,
how the fuck are we the weird ones?
Yeah, right? What's even crazier, they said, like, if you could read something and picture it in your mind, then you're in another category in itself. And I could do that too. Like, I'm like reading something, I could see like an image, like a movie and shit in my head.
Yeah. I ain't gonna lie. That just sounds like another form of my ADHD. just kicking right the fuck on in. That's all the fuck that sounds like to me. Y'all, all right, I'm good because y'all keep blowing my mind with shit.
Bro, how peaceful? How peaceful would it be if you just didn't have a thought? Like you'd be able to go to sleep so easily at night. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like
I got anxiety like shit.
Bro, you could smoke like an infinite amount of weed and just not get like paranoid. Like I don't know about y'all, but like when I smoke weed, like I start to like have memories of like when I was being like bad or some shit. Like I like beat myself up when I smoke weed. But like if you just didn't have any internal monologue, you could just like
you just be like all outward. Yeah.
Bro, what if Snoop Dogg just doesn't have an internal monologue?
I wonder if he does. That's a good question. Like, I wonder if he does have one. Because, like, a lot of people, because I thought that was like when I first found that little fact out. Yeah, I thought we were like the normal ones, but apparently not. It's like a low percentage, like I don't know, like 10% or 15 or some shit like that. I was like, really? I was like, that's crazy. And then it's like, if you can see the image, it's like you're 5% of that 15%. Like that. I was like, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah, that's fucked up. That's just something to add on my list of anxiety.
Yeah, I don't know the exact numbers, but those are just the numbers that like I'm throwing out there that makes sense. I forgot the exact numbers.
I don't smoke, but when I do an edible and shit like that, all I do is think.
I was gonna say
edibles. Fuck, I do.
Yeah, edibles.
Yeah, I'm relaxed.
That's all I do is think. Fucking stare at the Roku screen and wonder where the fourth Ninja Turtle is. That's all the fuck I do. The entire time that I'm high, I just look at the goddamn Roku screen. I'm like, damn, what the fuck is Michelangelo at, bro?
I'm just relaxed. I just like I think a lot, but I'm thinking everything in like internally. So like if I'm around other people and they're like, what you doing? Like, what you? I'm just thinking. Like, what the fuck you thinking about? Like, they expected me to like share like his class and shit. I was having a whole fucking festival inside my head and shit.
Yeah, fuck off.
Bro, I swear, like from doing so many drugs when I was a kid, like I used to do like a lot of like Xanax and shit like that, and I really think that shit like messed up my nervous system because anytime I like take an edible or something, I have full body tremors where like my whole body will shake and like. It's like I can't control it, like bro, my chest, my jaw, like, and inside of that happening, like inside of that happening, there's like a whole entire like world inside of my head of just like, like I said, I like beat myself up. I just feel like the worst person ever for like shit that happened like 10 years ago. Like, I'm just like, oh my God, I can't believe I
said I should have did that. I shouldn't have climbed that damn tree. He would have never fell if I ain't climbed that damn tree.
Exactly.
That's why the fuck I can't. That's why I can't smoke, because my stupid ass, I be in a hotel room thinking about getting attacked by a shark or some shit. This dumb shit. That's why I leave the shit alone. That's why I just drink my alcohol. And dance. Yeah, I get drunk and dance.
Hell yeah.
But no, this is a cool ass talk, Austin. You definitely blew my mind with tie-dye. You made something that I thought was so basic, seemed like goddamn Tony Stark type shit. I ain't gonna lie to you. And I really just hope that you keep going with your success and everything that you got going on, because it's really fucking dope. I love what you're doing, because once I saw that shit and I was like, God damn, like, how long does that take? Then I seen the finished design of it. I was like, man, that's crazy as hell that like he even just did that shit like with dye and a shirt. You made this. Like that shit still blew my mind like to this day. I ain't gonna lie to you. Malcolm, you ain't got nothing else?
Nah.
Wait, wrap it up? Okay, cool. Austin, tell the people where they can find you. You said you do auctions every week and everything like that. So we really want people to either follow you or purchase something. Yeah. Because I just support.
Hell yeah. My main thing is Instagram. That's where you can see like almost everything I've ever made is on Instagram. It's at dies_n_good vibes, and then dies and good vibes. It's the letter N on Facebook and TikTok. I've definitely been posting more on TikTok and stuff. I mean, really, I actually owe TikTok like a lot of props. I don't really like use the platform a lot, but that was like the first place I went viral at, and that's kind of what brought like a lot of people over, and I went viral on Instagram and all this stuff. But anyways, I'm rambling. Yeah, check out my Instagram. Scroll back, like you can see the progression of everything I've made pretty much. I mean, the first couple of years I didn't like post a lot of stuff because it sucked, but yeah, check me out on Instagram. I do weekly auctions, typically on Wednesday and Thursday. On there, the bids are in the comment section, or you can just shoot me a DM. I'll, hopefully get back to you. Usually I'm good about it. Like sometimes I just, I'm like working, and then I'll check my phone and I'll just have way too many messages, and I'll answer like a couple off the top, and then the rest kind of go by the wayside. But yeah, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok.
All right. Make sure to follow Austin. It's been another episode of Intertalk, Dread Dad's podcast. My name is Clint.
My name is Mal.
Make sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell, follow everything. Dread Dad's podcast. Dread Dad's podcast is literally everything. All social medias. Want to thank Austin again for stopping by, having a great talk, learning like hell.
Yeah, that was a huge learning curve for me.
Yeah, and we'll holler at y'all pretty soon, I think. Pretty soon. But yeah, this has been another episode of Intertalk. Enjoy this podcast. We out. Peace out.